Hi everyone, my name is Mary Beth. Welcome to my channel. So today we're going to ask about illusions. So illusions versus truth. We're going to find out what are the illusions in our life. What and then you know what? We might even ask what is truth. How about that? We'll ask what is illusion? What is truth? What are we paying attention to that is illusion that is taking us in the long, hard road direction versus truth, which will help our vibration go higher and help life to get a bit more easier, maybe a bit more peaceful. Who knows? So that's what we're going to ask. We're going to ask what is the illusion in our life versus truth, because I think this is going to really help us in the long run to figure out which direction to go into. So we're going to ask this map deck, the map, what is illusion, spirit? What is illusion? Two cards for the collective, two cards. What is illusion? What is illusion at this time for the collective? What is the illusion that is going on here? Okay. Interesting. The illusion is intention reverse. Now this is number 22 and there's a beautiful owl here and this is reversed. And you know what? And this one I think is very important to read from the book, actually, is what they're telling me. We also have encouragement reversed with two giraffes. Okay. So it's almost like what they're saying with this is that the illusion is that we are not being encouraged by the universe, that almost like the universe doesn't have good intentions. That's what they're telling me. Yeah, that's what I'm being told, and I get it because I felt that way. I felt like life has been abusive. So I get it. So the universe is saying the illusion is that life doesn't have good intentions and doesn't want to help you and is not encouraging you and doesn't want you to go and doesn't want you to win or succeed or whatever your life path is. So that's what they're telling me is the illusion. And that makes sense because I know that many of us have gone through quite the up and down as the collective, and after a while you think, life is being a bit abusive here, not having good intentions. And they're saying, no, that's the illusion. Okay, so what's the truth then? What's the truth? What's the truth, spirit? So the illusion is that life is not supporting us, life is not encouraging us, doesn't have good intentions. So what's the truth? What's the truth? So the truth is nobody needs rescuing. That's for sure. Life is saying the truth is you don't need rescuing. I don't need rescuing. Your friends don't need rescuing. Nobody needs rescuing. So that's very self-explanatory. Actually, that's number 16. So far we got number 16, number 2, and number 54 on the board. And then we have wishing well. We've gotten this one before, reversed. And again, it's almost like it's not about wishing. It's about, no understanding. It's what they're telling me is this. So we all have these wishes and well thought out paths where we want to go. We want to go. We really wish, spirit, that this is the way things would turn out. And they're saying the soul is not really here, even though we think that, like, I guess on the masculine, this is what they're telling me, on the divine masculine side, yes, okay, definitely. On the divine masculine side, which is our conscious mind, we are definitely here to fulfill wishes, 100%, because that's our outer world. The divine feminine, which is what we're trying to rebirth right now, is not here for that, not really here to fulfill wishes as much as learning certain lessons, growing, going with the flow, ascending in some way. Okay, so it's more about that. And what I'm finding is with the divine feminine is what she's saying, And of course, it's not a he or she, but what she's saying is that when you react to the outer world, it's not really about the outer world, it's your inner world. So the divine feminine, the emotional body, is actually projecting and communicating through the outer world, but it's really what's going on in the inner world. So they're just saying, look within. That's something they're telling me, is they're saying, look within for your treasures. If you go within, that's where you're going to find the treasures inside. Okay, so that's interesting. So that's the truth. Oh, sorry, my fan is blowing things around here, I think. I don't know. Okay, let's keep going. What else is illusion, spirit? Let's find out. What else is the illusion here? Let's get two tarot cards. What's the illusion for the collective? What's the illusion, spirit, for the collective? All right. So we got the Nine of Wands reversed, and we got the Star reversed. Okay, so what Spirit is saying about this one, because this is usually about faith, about healing, it's about, kind of filling up your own cup, right? And then this one is about persevering. And so the other illusion is that almost like the other, this is interesting. Okay, it's almost like the illusion is that you might feel like something doesn't have faith in you or has given up on you. So that's really interesting. So I don't know, maybe you feel like your higher self has given up on you, your soul has given up on you, your twin flame has given up on you, or doesn't have faith, or you've given up on yourself. So that's the illusion. If you feel like God has given up on you, something to do with not having faith in you, and that is the furthest from the truth, is what they're saying. They're saying they have so much faith in you, and yeah, and they think you're doing great. They're like, they don't see life the way we do. Spirit sees life in a very different manner, in a way where they can see how far we've come, where we think we suck, I guess. I don't know. and we don't really have compassion for ourselves for all that we've been through. And then let me just use the same deck. And what is the truth, Spirit? What is the truth? Two cards. And what's the truth when it comes for the collective? What's the truth? And of course, the opposite would be the truth on here, where, they do have faith in us. Aw, so we got the Page of Pentacles. This is about really concentrating on a skill, honing on a skill. This is about focus. See how focused he is? So the truth is, stay focused on these new skills that you're learning, because boy, are you learning. they're like, boy, have you come a long way. It's like, you think we've given up on you, and we think you're making bad decisions, and you think that, we as, your higher self, or your I don't know, your ancestors, your spirit team are saying, yeah, we're losing faith in you. They're saying, stay focused on the new skills that you've learned, because you are doing fabulous. And then same with, you got Eight of Cups here, okay? So whatever spiritual journey that you're on, keep going. It's a long journey. A journey is not a short trip, right? It could be years on a journey. Here's the thing, right? I guess the truth is, the spirit would be bored if you finish the journey. The spirit would be like, okay, now what? You finished the journey. What are we even here for? But only the divine feminine, probably the divine masculine, would be like, woohoo, we can now just enjoy ourselves. But the divine feminine would be like, wah wah. Okay, so now let's do this deck. This is an interesting deck. I think this is like a shadows and light deck. I forget what deck this is. But anyway, what is the illusion, Spirit? What is the illusion for the collective? What is the illusion? 2 cards for the collective. What is the illusion? Okay, we got Little Red Riding Hood, which says, I am not a victim. That's very interesting. That came out upright. So Little Red Riding Hood is saying, I am not a victim, but yet they're saying that this is an illusion. So, but that's also coupled with Deep Dark Sea Mermaid, which says, find solutions in the unknown places in the darkness. And it's reversed. Now, isn't that interesting? Well, actually, what they're telling me is the illusion is that, you know, yeah. So they're telling me that because it's reversed, right? Because the reverse is saying, oh yeah, I'm not a victim, and I'm just gonna. This is what they're telling me. What they're saying is, I'm not a victim and this is stupid and I'm just going to pretend this never happened and I'm walking away from this. And it's almost like they're saying this is spiritual bypassing. And what they're saying is, instead, if you let yourself fall into the depths of the darkness, right, of the deep, deep, deep emotions, like the deep dive where, yeah, it's like you do feel like a victim, then that's where you're going to find solutions in your unknown darkness. Because we all have deep, deep, dark wounds from our past lives, our ancestral line, stuff that we've, inherited from our inner child wounds. Who knows? Who knows what else? And so they're saying that it's this deep, dark feelings is what brings us to this place where we go into the depths of our soul and we find answers, where we find our truth, which is so interesting. That's what they're telling me. We find our truth in the deep depths of the emotional body. But if you're standing here and saying, hey, I'm not a victim, I feel nothing and I am walking away from this and you can't touch me and you can't hurt me, they're saying, well, that defeats the whole purpose. Well, now we gotta do it again. They're saying, oh man, we like, gave you this scenario and you were supposed to go deep and dark into this dark night of the soul, and you just said, no, I'm not doing that, screw that, and now you're like, now I gotta do it again because you were supposed to go into this deep, dark, right? You're supposed to go deep, deep with the sea mermaid, deep into the waters, the depths of your soul, to learn whatever it is you're supposed to learn. And they're saying that's the truth right there. So that's interesting. I'm still going to ask, only because I've been doing it with the other decks, I'm still going to ask, and what's the truth? Okay, and what's the truth, Spirit? Because even though that is the truth, I gave you the truth, but nothing but the truth. Okay, and give us another truth, Spirit, another truth with this deck. What's another truth? Let's get another truth. A twist in the tail. The unexpected, a change you did not see coming. Yeah, so the truth is, you're not supposed to know what's going to happen next. It's supposed to be twists and turns. Like, that's part of the journey. Like, we all think, well, I'm gonna manifest it. It's gonna happen in this certain way, and it's gonna be in under those certain terms. And they're saying no. The truth of the matter is, there's gonna be twists and there's gonna be turns, and life is not going to quite turn out the way you actually thought. It's just one big storyline, twist in the tail. Now that's coupled with, we got Orca Magic. The Akashic libraries are open, which came out reversed, which means that library's closed, right? We come in with a mind swipe. We don't remember what we came in with. We don't remember what our lessons are. We don't remember. That's part of the game. We don't have memory of our past life. Well, some of us do, but many of us don't, and it makes the game a little tougher. Sometimes easier, sometimes tougher, depending on what you're going through. And so yeah, the Akashic records are closed. You're not supposed to see, not supposed to go in there and say, huh, let's see, what happened in my last lifetime, what am I here working on, and they're saying no, that's because now you're missing steps, and now you're missing parts of the journey, and now the truth of the matter is you're here to learn certain lessons. And so expect twists and turns, and you're not supposed to have all the answers. Okay, got it. Okay, so illusion versus, okay, let's get another one. Let's get another illusion or guidance, whatever. I don't know what this deck will give. Usually I ask for guidance in these type of cards, but let's see if they'll give an illusion. We'll get asked for an illusion. Do you have another illusion that you want us to know? Which obviously will be also some sort of guidance for the collective, please. And actually these are my Akashic records, actually. So in my Akashic record, so it says gratitude. There's always something to be grateful for, even in the darkest of the situations. Now is the time to recognize what is going well in your life and what you are thankful for. Yeah. So basically what they're saying is, in the illusion is that there's nothing to be grateful for. So the truth of the matter is there's always something to be grateful for. There is something, and that's part of the journey. And here's the thing, right? Because of our ancestral line and because of our wounds that we come in with, and depending on who you are and how much or how many lessons you've given yourself to learn, depending on each soul, you could come in with a lot of baggage. And so sometimes that's what you're focused on, and you kind of forget to be grateful for all the wonderful things, because there's also gifts that are given to us. And so they're saying, obviously, according to this card, they're asking you not to bypass the darkness, right? They're saying, no, you need to go into the dark despair, because that's where you're going to find a lot of your knowledge in the depths of your soul. Okay, but at the same time, having gratitude for the gifts that were also given in life. So that's a little bit of guidance there, and then we'll just get a card from this one too. Any more guidance, Spirit? We'll do one more where it comes to close out this session. Any more guidance when it comes to truth versus illusion, Spirit? What do you want us to know based on truth versus illusion? Okay. When going through tough times, it is important to remember that nothing up to this point has defeated you. You've overcome challenges before. Be kinder to yourself and be thankful for all that you already have, which kind of goes with this one. Right? We got the gratitude, be thankful, but they're saying nothing has defeated you before. You're still here. And yeah, and again, the whole point, the big takeaway, I'm guessing, is that we're supposed to go into the deep depths. A lot of us don't want to. A lot of us want to escape that. We want to pretend nothing bad happened, and we just want to move on. We don't want to face it. We don't want to face the darkness. We really don't. Because it's painful. We don't want to face the darkness, and so things will happen, and unfortunately, we're supposed to. We're supposed to go deep, deep, deep into the dark depths to learn, okay? And then again, just to kind of go over what Spirit has said, and that is that they're not giving, Spirit's not giving up on us, and Spirit suspects you're not going to give up, and you're not going to lose faith. Spirit says otherwise you wouldn't have been chosen. So they're saying right here, they're like, when going through tough times, nothing to this point has defeated you. This is why you were chosen to go through this. They don't choose weak people to do these types of journeys. They choose people who don't give up, and they choose people who don't lose faith. Okay? Your inner world has all that you need. Your inner world will be reflected in your outer world. Now, again, the divine masculine wants the treasures in the outer world, but the divine feminine, which is what we're trying to rebirth, are digging for treasures for our inner world. Okay? And that means healing, and that means ascension, that means going up in vibration. And so that's where the knowledge is. Very interesting reading. All about, and remember, you've learned skills here. You got skills. This is what this is telling me. You got skills. Focus on them. No one needs to be rescued. You don't need to be rescued. People around you don't need to be rescued. Everyone is on their own journey. So that's the illusion that people need rescuing. No one needs rescuing. Twists in the tail. It's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to know. There's, which I hate that part. I like knowing. I don't like not knowing. But yeah, that's what they're saying. And I did promise that I would read from this, and I'm still interested in doing that, so I'm going to do that. So hold on one second so that I get this book. Hold on. Now, before I do read this, I do want to say they told me that they want you to know that the universe has good intentions. Okay. Because some of us might think what's going on out in the world right now, that the universe is kind of like life is kind of against us right now, and life has good intentions, and life is trying to encourage us. Now, what the book says is, are you clear about your intentions, or are you in a foggy state of denial about your true motives and or ambitions? I'm sorry, I need glasses. This is the time to step back and gain perspective and clarity about your direction. Check your motives and ask if they are sincere. Are you pursuing some goal blindly without asking its cost? Good intentions are being misinterpreted. Now is the time for self-evaluation and self-nurturing. You will benefit greatly if you take time out to regroup. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so you really got to understand. You got to understand your motives behind every type of decision that you make. Are you making a decision out of fear, or are you making a decision from peace? And just be honest with yourself. And you know what? If you make a decision out of fear, so what? Sorry, I gotta fix my microphone here. So what? So what if you made a decision out of fear? You know what? Have, compassion for yourself. It makes sense. But also, it's time to also look at why you're making decisions, and then you can kind of take a step back and say, ah, man, I'm making this decision out of fear. I really need to make a decision out of peace. Let me wait till I'm peaceful, and then I'll make the decision. Maybe let's try that, and then I'll feel a bit more encouraged about my choice, and I won't feel like I have to make it based on the life is against me. So basically, what they're saying is you're making a choice based on life is against me, life is for me, or life is me. All right. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.